Andrew Carnegie, The Gospel of Wealth. Our presentation includes ideas on Carnegie's views on the duty of a man who has wealth, his duty as far as inheritance, and explains how a man who dies rich dies disgraced. These ideas play an important role on identifying the problems in society today and how many things have changed since Carnegie's time 100 years ago. Carnegie wants to help someone who has the drive to help themselves in the long run. This is the path that I'm going to take on this individual portion of the project. In the Gospel of Wealth, Andrew Carnegie says, quote, "In bestowing charity, the main consideration should be to help those who will help themselves." End quote, page 400. This quote is very intriguing because he completely disregards those who do not help themselves. This idea is very close to my heart because when I was 7 years old, my family adopted a little boy from Haiti. When I turned 10, my family adopted another child, a girl, from Haiti also. This life experience gave me a whole new definition of charity and relates to Carnegie more than I could have ever thought. When my family adopted my little brother and sister, we took on a new responsibility while following Carnegie's ideas very closely. We were choosing to help two kids from a ran-down home whose parents could not afford to take care of them. Their parents were willing to give up the two best things to ever happen to them in order for their children to have a chance to succeed and help themselves. My parents have taught me these ideas of charity and helping those who will help themselves. Carnegie also says, quote, "Of every $1,000 spent in so-called charity today, it is probable that 950 is spent unwisely." End quote. In order to prevent this from happening, those with money must administer it wisely and donate it and ensure it is being spent properly. Back to my adopted brother and sister, what better way is there to do this than adopt two poor children and raise them? This monitors every dollar spent on them and allows them to grow and be able to be successful. Another wonderful example of this idea is Bill Gates. As one of the richest men in the world, Gates is a man the Gospel of Wealth is preaching directly towards. He should be a trustee for the poor. Through his own charitable organization, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill Gates does just that. Instead of hoarding his money or aimlessly giving away his wealth to organizations that would just waste 95% of his money, he founded his own organization. This made sure that the money would be put to good use. Billions of dollars have gone to this foundation and continue to go to this foundation. Carnegie would absolutely support Gates' actions in his charitable organization, and he is a great example in today's society. Also, Carnegie thinks that leaving great fortunes for a man's children in order to show affection is misguided affection. Instead, he says, quote, "The duty of a parent is to see that such are provided for in moderation," end quote, page 396. Moderation is the key word here. The American society does not even know the meaning of moderation these days. Americans eat as much as they can, they spend as much money as they have, and in most cases, even more money than they have, and go into debt. We need to listen to Carnegie and apply this idea of moderation in all aspects of life. You obviously do not need to let your impoverished child fail, but providing for them in moderation is key. Instead of allowing your child to never learn the value of the almighty dollar, such as Paris Hilton's parents and so many parents of celebrities today, providing your child with a little support and forcing them to make their way to the top by hard work is the way to do it, just as Andrew Carnegie was raised. Although I agree with Carnegie on these two ideas, I would have to disagree with how Carnegie thinks about taxing people at death. He says, quote, "By taxing estates heavily at death, the state marks its condemnation of the selfish millionaire's unworthy life," end quote, page 397. How does this solve anything at all? Carnegie already said that 95% of a charity's donation is spent unwisely, and the government is hardly different. How much of the money the citizens of the United States pay in taxes actually go towards a good cause? During Carnegie's time, this money would have gone to education, public resources, and other programs Carnegie most likely supported. But after Carnegie died, welfare, as many other programs, were created in order to support those without jobs. Carnegie would be furious at this idea because the government is giving money directly to those who do not help themselves. Although this idea of taxing those who died millionaires may have seemed like a good plan in the late 19th century, in today's society it would be simple-minded. The government is so focused on helping those who cannot help themselves, this new income would be spent unwisely and would go against everything Carnegie believed when he was alive. As times change, it becomes obvious the society has changed as well, and results in the fact that some ideas that seemed good 100 years ago now seem to go directly against Carnegie's morals. This is ironic because these fixes were based directly on Carnegie's morals in the first place. Although this idea of taxing millionaires at their death is outdated, Andrew Carnegie had many good ideas that present-day Americans can benefit from using, such as his ideas of charity and moderation. Americans would absolutely profit from reading The Gospel of Wealth today.